Alhamdulillah. I know you got this, they don't like this. Alhamdulillah. Tomorrow night, I'm gonna smash your boy, guys.
I think the outcome is very unpredictable, very difficult to call, a very, very difficult fight. I'm picking Khabib. Why am I picking Khabib? We've noticed that Gaethje has made some serious adjustments to his game, some very serious adjustments. And the number one adjustment, in my opinion, that he's made is he's throwing that low kick. He's throwing an amazing low kick, and it's super effective. It's super effective, super powerful. It seems like nobody's seeing it coming. It's hitting the leg. It's slapping back beautifully. He's pulling it back beautifully. His opponents are not countering him. And also, he seems to have added a lot of counter punching to his game. Brought his level, you know, with Trevor Whitman, he's brought his boxing, I think, to a new level. He's doing less brawling and more counter punching, and it's paid dividends. You know, he was always a good puncher, but now he's become an excellent puncher. We saw that in his last fight after he stopped Tony Ferguson. In my opinion, this fight is going to be won by Khabib because, not because, you know, Justin Gaethje has, you know, he hasn't improved. Of course, the man's improved, but there's one thing I suspect. I suspect that when Khabib gets on top of him, I think Khabib's going to use those leg kicks. Don't forget, Gaethje's kicking a lot now. When you kick low to the leg, you're very susceptible to takedowns. So you have a really good leg kicker who throws leg kicks. After throwing leg kicks, he's going to give Khabib lots of opportunities to score a double leg, single leg, double leg, single to double. And Khabib's not going to miss, you know, very unlikely. I think Khabib gets him to the ground. Now, on the ground, in my opinion, there's going to be a massive differential. Okay, so I think striking is very close. I think wrestling is very close. Gaethje's been wrestling his entire life, okay, similar to Khabib. Toughness is very even. Cardiovascular, physical shape, both of them are very even. But I have a feeling that Khabib has done more groundwork and is levels above Gaethje on the ground. Why? Why do I say this? We haven't seen Gaethje on the ground very much. We have not seen him on the bottom or the top. And that tells me that, you know, he'd rather strike. Why would you rather strike? Why would you rather get in all these wars? Some of you are going to say, oh, well, you know, coach, that's his attitude. That's why he likes it. He wants to be an exciting fighter. He'd rather lose than be boring. Maybe he has that kind of attitude. It also might be that he's not comfortable on the ground. It also might be that on the ground, he just doesn't feel right. He can do a takedown. He can defend a takedown. But on the ground, it's complicated. It's tiresome. Some people don't like it, okay? I have a feeling he's one of those guys that if you put him on his back, all he does is try to get up. He doesn't try to armbar, sweep, submit, leg lock, forget all that. He doesn't do any of that. He tries to base out. He tries to get to his knees. He tries to put his palms on the floor and start standing up against the cage or up in the mat, up off the mat. He's going to gain position. He's going to put Gaethje. He's going to force Gaethje to his back, even though Gaethje will do everything not to go to his back. Gaethje rather go to his knees, in my opinion. I'm assuming this from seeing his fight and how he reacts typically when there's some grappling exchanges. I think he's going to show his back. He's going to get gut wrenched. He's going to get back taken. He's going to get put on his back, forced on his back. He's not going to be comfortable on his back. He's going to be getting hit with ground and pound. He's not going to be able to defend himself. And then we're going to see a massive differential. When it comes to the striking, it's going to be very even. Gaethje's got great power. He showed us that his right hand is very dangerous. He stopped Cowboy. He stopped Vic. He stopped, well, he hurt Poirier with it. He hurt Eddie Alvarez with it. I mean, he has a sting in his right hand. His right hand is dangerous. He hurt El Kukui. You know, they stopped the fight when he was standing up, but he was hurt. Great power from Gaethje. Great power from Khabib. Khabib dropped McGregor. He dropped him. Some of you say he didn't drop. Well, his hand touched the ground. Maybe his hips didn't touch the ground, but when your hand touches the ground due to a strike in boxing, if any part of your body touches the ground after a strike, after a punch, after a legal blow, if any part of your body, whether it's your knee or your glove, it's a knockdown. We saw that Khabib can be very explosive. Those leg kicks, in my opinion, I think are going to get him taken down. If he doesn't throw leg kicks, well, that's one less thing for Khabib to worry about. And you see that Gaethje is kind of a pressure fighter, kind of an in-fighter. I think it's going to set up a takedown for Khabib. Look, at the end of the day, I'm thinking that Khabib gets the takedown, and because he gets the takedown, there's going to be a massive differential. So he's going to expose things about Gaethje we didn't know about because he's bringing such a new game that Gaethje hasn't seen. Who's the top wrestler that Gaethje's ever fought? I know that Gaethje's a seasoned wrestler. I'm not saying he's not a seasoned wrestler. He's a very seasoned wrestler. But Khabib has taken down seasoned wrestlers convincingly. I think that he gets the takedown and the ground differential is too high. I think the leg kicks could work, but they could also backfire. I think Khabib is going to be very happy to shoot on those leg kicks. As soon as Gaethje throws them, he's going to fire away a double leg or a single leg, but most likely a double, and he's going to get the fight to the ground. If you were Justin's coach, how would you prepare him to accentuate his strengths and neutralize Khabib's strengths? Obviously, he doesn't want to get taken down, but if he does get taken down, what's the game plan? So one, we do a lot of cage wrestling, avoid the double, get to that underhook, snap him down if he shoots on you, like make him regret shooting on you. If that fails and you find yourself in a gut wrench, what are you going to do? If you find yourself on your back, what are you going to do? Now, those are very specific. What are you going to do? Because it's Justin Gaethje, I don't think he'd play off his back. I don't think playing off your back is necessarily a good idea in this opinion, in this fight. I would try to control one wrist and try to make my way up back to my feet. If he gut wrenches, I like to spin, twist, and go for leg locks and stuff like that, but I don't think that's Gaethje's game. Gaethje's going to have to fight the hands and get back up, hip heist. He's going to have to go old school wrestling, or else it just won't work for him. He doesn't have those years of rolling for leg locks underneath his belt. What percentage chance do you give Justin Gaethje for a knockout? I would say to knock out Khabib, I would say he's got like a 35% chance. Khabib has proven to be very resilient. In round 3, he got hit with a few McGregor lefts, and he took them very well. And we all know that McGregor's left hand, has put people out on a stretcher. So I'm very impressed with Khabib's chin. Very impressed. Does Gaethje win if he stays off the cage? I would up his chances heavily. Heavily. But we did see Khabib take down Iaquinta in the middle of the octagon. Again, that was pretty tricky. I don't know if he'll get those very often. And we saw him take McGregor down in the center of the octagon. It can be done. It's just not as easy. Hey, coach, what do you think is the best game plan style to beat Khabib? You know what? I would like scissor knees. I would time a scissor knee if I was Justin Gaethje. Why not? You're going down anyway. Like, you're going to get... Like, I would strike, and as soon as I smell a takedown, I would scissor knee. Not knee. I would scissor knee. Similar to what, of course, Masvidal did famously against Ben Askren. It's not easy to do. It's easier said than done. I wouldn't do it necessarily running across the octagon. It's been done already. It's been, Khabib's not that predictable at shooting. Ben Askren, if you blink at him, he's going to shoot. That's his game plan. It's worked for him for many years. Maybe he did it for too long. Khabib is going to strike. Khabib is going to try to move around and box with you and then take you down. So I don't think you would catch Khabib with that. But however, I would, stay low. I would box. I'm get him trading with me. And I feel the second he changes level, I would scissor knee. And if he catches my scissor knee, I'm going to start rolling. I'm going to start dive rolling, funk rolling. You guys know how much I love funk rolling and leg locks and spinning underneath. I find it's a beautiful style, and it's fun. So I do a lot of it, and I think it could work against Khabib, possibly. Easier said than done, of course. What does Khabib look on his back? Well, if you look at his earlier fights in Russia, I think it was in Russia, he does get put on his back, and he looked really good. He looked really, really good. He did a nice, was it a triangle choke? Yeah, he has a win off his back, triangle choke. And he was doing like armbar. He could see his hips were moving well. Listen, Sambo, they have guard. They have good guards, it seems. He was working well off his back, and he actually got a submission in his career off his back. Against a really good wrestler, by the way. Do you think Jiu-Jitsu will play a role in this fight? Who has the edge in your opinion? That's from Rabah. Rabah, definitely Khabib. I expect Khabib's Jiu-Jitsu to be significantly stronger, better, more advanced. Khabib has 3 triangles on his resume. Really, I thought it was just 1. Okay, well, that's good. He seems to be really good with the triangle. And he's definitely experienced off his back. And that was years ago. So I'm sure he's still been training off his back ever since. But I have a feeling that Khabib's going to get that takedown. And it might not be in round 1. It might take 1 or 2 rounds. But he has 5 rounds to get Gaethje on his back. And just something tells me from watching the move, from watching them, watching their careers, which I'm a big fan of both of them. Outside of all the fighters I trained, Khabib is my favorite fighter. And Gaethje's up there as well. Okay, I would tell you that just seeing the move on the ground, and we haven't seen much of Gaethje on the ground, but the little bit we've seen, I find that Khabib is just way ahead. What is a good way for Gaethje to lure Khabib into a guillotine and successfully apply it? Poirier had some decent success in almost guillotining him. That's from Varun. Varun, you know what? Guillotining is great. And I've had the privilege of training with some of the best guillotiners. And I could tell you something. They're so scary to shoot on. Like, it's so scary to shoot on these great guillotiners. I personally don't throw my head in throw my head in there, under the arm and all stuff, unless it's MMA, like unless I could set it up with punches. I feel like shooting in jiu-jitsu is really delicate business. Like you better be behind, like you got to be very careful doing that. If you're fighting a good guillotiner, now if the guy you're fighting is not a great guillotiner, it could be safer. But some guys out there have such good guillotines and they're so strong and have such a strong squeeze. And even if you get out of it, they find a way to get on top. And I've studied the guillotine for years. It's a move I believe in immensely. However, if you don't have a great guillotine, don't try it on Khabib. It's not going to work because Khabib has amazing grappling defense for guillotine. A great guillotiner would guillotine Khabib. Absolutely. Especially after what I saw after the Poirier fight. I think a great guillotiner, world-class guillotiners can do it. I don't think Justin Gaethje is a world-class guillotiner. If he did score a guillotine on Khabib, it would have to be, he stunned him, he caught him with something, he hit him to the body. Khabib's really in a lot of trouble. Khabib's very tired. Maybe they got into too many scrambles and Khabib's catching his breath. And before he could finish catching his breath, you apply a guillotine. Even if the guillotine's not on perfectly, it could still get a tap. Absolutely. You see it all the time. Khabib was a bull versus Barboza. He was like a matador against Conor. How do you think he's going to get Justin Gaethje to the cage? I'm obsessed with this fight. Tom Green, I'm looking forward to this fight very much also. And I would tell you that I think he's going to pressure Gaethje. I don't think he's going to circle around. Why did he circle with Khabib? You're right. With McGregor. You're right. In round one, he circled, and then he shot really low. And that was such a great game plan. Why? Because McGregor stands in such a wide base, and McGregor comes forward so aggressively. And McGregor, if you punch him back, he's got this laser beam type of left hand where he slips out of the way and he hits you, and it's just like the fight's over. I think Khabib respects. Whatever he says, he respects McGregor's striking. He circled out because he knows that McGregor's knocked people out in round one so badly, so often, that why trading with McGregor in round one is really like you're playing with fire. Khabib was really smart. You're right. He never done that before in his career. He circled out. He showed so much respect, and he shot the safest takedown, the one where it's a low single. Like there's no chance of getting punched. Like he really didn't want anything to do with McGregor's hands on round one. McGregor's also got a really long reach and a very awkward style where he fights every inch, every millimeter matters. Gaethje doesn't fight like that. So I think he's going to be more in the pocket with Gaethje. I think he's going to be more pressing. Gaethje and him are more infighters, whereas McGregor's this long distance sniper that if you're throwing a punch and you miss by a little bit, he's going to catch you. Totally different fight. Khabib is so intelligent. He's so seasoned. You could tell this man's been fighting for a long time. He doesn't fight everybody the same. He made an exception for McGregor, which was very wise, extremely wise. I was surprised when I saw Khabib. I tip my hat to him. He's very intelligent. It would have been a bad idea to press McGregor in round one, my opinion. But not the same with Gaethje. He's going to press Gaethje probably. It's going to be like, not all the way in berserker mode round one, but he's going to press Gaethje. Gaethje's got a heart. We know Gaethje's got this incredible heart. And he might pull Khabib down into the gutter with him and make him fight a street fight. And that could be a win for Gaethje because Gaethje, I think he beats almost anybody in a street fight. He's got a lot of heart and a lot of grit. His last few fights, he's been fighting more intelligently, more calculated. Again, hats off to Trevor Whitman, who for certain has a major influence on his style, his new adaptations. Very impressive work. However, I think Khabib is too seasoned, too calm, too intelligent, too poised, fighting for too long. He showed so much good judgment in the past that I doubt he gets into a brawl. Gaethje only needs 4 good kicks to change the direction of the fight because Khabib's legs will be destroyed. That's from Eduardo Sandez. 4 kicks might be a little bit optimistic. I think it could be 4 kicks. Sometimes it happens, but unlikely. I think Justin Gaethje is going to have to do a lot of hand fighting. And if he gets taken down, he's going to have to go to 4 points, meaning hands and knees. And he's going to have to fight those hands. And it's a lot of work. It's not easy to do.